Hey guys, Elfen here. Gonna be the interaction of Carnage versus Lucy, Marvel versus Elfen Lied. I don't know much about Carnage, but I know plenty about Elfen Lied. Holy crap, that's what I describe it. It's a pink-haired girl with two horns on her head who's pretty much naked in every single episode. It's really not for kids. Who also has visible hands that rip people apart. So, like they're nothing, so it's a pretty dark anime. If you're into that stuff, sure, but me, I don't know why, I just get way too deep into emo stuff. You should see me through chick flicks, oh my god. Anytime of that kind of stuff, I'm just bawling at the end. Yeah, I cry over emotional stuff, but come on, it's adorable. So, anyway, let's just get to this video.
Hey everybody, we have a brand new Death Battle t-shirt on the Screw Attack / Rooster Teeth store. Head to store.roosterteeth.com and you guys can pick one up. It's a great way to support the show.
I've never learned how to make money online. People say I can make a ton of money on World of Warcraft, but I don't know how. I mean, I could easily make characters like there's nothing.
Anything, it's that there's no real limit to crazy.
Oh, that was bullcrap.
Marvel's dangerously insane psychopath. Or Lucy, the messed up murder lady from Elfen Lied.
Elfen Lied. It's German.
Yeah, whatever.
Wait, that's a jerk.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Cletus Cassidy didn't have the chance to be a well-adjusted adult because his entire family was already crazy.
You see, my parents were sometimes abusive, and it made a prick of me. But I can change.
What if you remain a sandy little butthole?
Hi, Satan, don't be such a twit.
While Cletus was just a boy, his father got sent to jail for killing his mother.
Jeez.
Which he did because she had tried to kill Cletus.
Which she did because Cletus had tortured and killed her dog, Fifi.
I killed it and ate it! Yeah! Rebels! Yeah, rebels!
Well, go Miss Cassidy! All dog murderers deserve death, even if they're 8. Right, Jack Spaniels? Good boy! Oh, and Cletus murdered his grandma, too.
What the hell?
She's kind of a bitch.
He didn't stop there and wound up burning down his own orphanage. Years later, he was finally arrested and convicted for 11 murders.
Jeez.
You mean the 11 murders they knew about?
But while in prison, Cletus found that he wasn't alone. In fact, his cellmate just so happened to be Eddie Brock.
Who you may know is that creepy guy covered in black ink called Venom.
That ink is actually a symbiotic alien known as a Clintar. This symbiote bonded with Eddie,
those things. They're supposed to be friendly,
and
but
violent rival for the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
their personality's different from
Eddie
the bodies.
didn't know was it was pregnant.
What?
Time to go out for cigarettes, Eddie.
Well, symbiotes actually reproduce asexually. When Eddie became Venom once again, the symbiote sort of oozed out its spawn and left it there.
Just like me and my dad. Well, this new symbiote immediately attached itself to Cletus, but unlike the Venom one, it merged through a cut on his skin, creating this suit made out of blood.
Hi, I'm the new nurse.
Get out of here. This blood's not for you.
Aww. Oh, look, an empty tire with some water in it. All right, I'm happy again.
Ew. That doesn't seem sanitary.
And together, they became Carnage.
A fitting name for a psycho mass murderer. Cletus and his new symbiote quickly got up to what they knew best, creating maximum carnage. Remember that game? It was great.
Never
With his
played
new
those games.
superpowers, he was a vicious force to be reckoned with.
I really
he has the
should have
same
done something
superhuman
with my
strength,
childhood.
speed, and durability as Venom, and supposedly even greater.
I still
Like
gotta
a
figure out
Venom
what to do
2.0.
now.
He can shapeshift to make all sorts of killer weapons, like axes, swords, and spikes. He can even rip those weapons off himself or launch them at his victims. Have you ever tried ripping your fingers off and throwing them at people? Because that's just kind of what Carnage does.
That
The
sounds
symbiote
wrong.
can also reach out with dozens of chaotic, blood-soaked tendrils, perfect for strangling the people he doesn't want to see anymore. With a
Eesh.
single touch, Carnage can infect a person with a portion of his symbiote, controlling or torturing them at his leisure. He has unbelievable regeneration, and even if somebody finds a way to disable his suit, the Carnage symbiote lives inside his bloodstream and can come back out through something as meager as a paper cut.
Also, the symbiote literally sees everything around it. It's kind of like wearing a suit made of eyeballs.
But let's say you're able to dodge his projectiles, outrun the tendrils, and get out of sight from the eyeball suit. You're still not safe. He will catch you, because he can sprout wings and fly.
What the hell? Since when?
Since realizing that shapeshifting is a really, really useful ability.
So he's able to fly, he's totally aware of everything around him, and he's full of blood? This guy's like a giant mosquito of death.
Sure. Carnage has said he's at least 10 times faster than the average man. But that's pretty modest, because Venom has shown he can move fast enough to catch up to a bullet after it's fired. And Carnage is frequently shown to be as fast or even faster than him. This puts Carnage over 1,500 miles per hour, over twice the speed of sound.
He's lifted a 50-ton tank, and he can overpower Spider-Man, whose best supported strength feat was lifting that giant machine thing that weighed as much as a 1965 locomotive.
Which would put it around 130 tons.
And you know those weird tendril things crawling around his body? When he wanted to find a missing journalist in New York, he climbed to the top of the Empire State Building and just stretched them all out over the city.
He found her by this coastline, and this building nearby looks a lot like the consolidated Edison plant between 14th and 15th Street. That's about 2 miles away.
And as a thank you for saving her, she shot Carnage in the head. Well, fine. Save your own ass next time, lady.
He was fine. Carnage's durability doesn't come from a sturdy build. Instead, his form is malleable and somewhat fluid. Technically, his human body still exists somewhere in that mass of blood, flesh, and writhing
he'd win against
But even when he's hit by a train, struck by missiles, or blasted apart by a tritium bomb, he can always just pull himself back together.
So long as there's a piece of him still around.
Yeah, she's still mortal. She can still die.
It looks like Carnage survived a blast worth 125 tons of TNT.
Very impressive. Also, he once smothered and survived a gene bomb designed to wipe out all of humanity except mutants.
He's even survived being ripped in half and thrown into space. Seriously, what kills this guy?
Well, he does share the same weaknesses as other symbiotes, namely extremely loud noises and heat.
Well, until he traded the sound one for a weakness against some Cthulhu-looking magic.
Carnage has been through a lot, but with two minds as one, he always gets back up to keep doing what he loves.
Murder, murder, and, you know, more murder.
Why does anyone just end his life? Seriously. I thought you were Carnage.
There are some mysteries.
How are they going to show this when a chick is naked in almost every episode? This is going to be hard.
Every day, something, somewhere, comes ever closer to destroying everything you hold dear. One such secret is the Dicloni.
No big deal. They're just a race of crazy people who want to infect human beings to make more
You doing okay? It's Mom and Dad. We thought we'd... Awakenings!
I'm not sure that's
Awakenings!
You're gonna hurt him if you
Awakenings!
knock it off.
Clone and then wipe
well, I
out
still
all
suffer from
humanity.
depression, but you see
Look
what
at
I
the
mean.
cute little horns. They look like kitty ears.
To accomplish this, the Dicloni would have to rely on their queen, Carnage, better known as Lucy.
Luckily for everyone,
It's been a long time since I've
important
seen
people
it,
figured
but
this
it was
out and
recent I didn't
captured
watch
her.
it again.
And now it's time for your only warning.
Right, Lucy's methods, let's just say
Yes,
not for the faint of heart.
And let's also say that those lucky important people were about to get very, very unlucky.
Yeah. They just love gory stuff.
Jesus Christ, what's happening?
To truly understand, let's take a step back. As an infant, Lucy was abandoned by her parents and left alone to suffer a life of constant discrimination.
It was the horns, wasn't it?
Right, even the average kid hates growing up in an orphanage, but it was especially painful for her.
Until she found a stray puppy and decided to take care of it.
Oh, and that's when it got
adorable
dark.
little critter and her became best friends. And then the other kids from the orphanage went out and beat it to death. And forced her to watch.
That's why I never watched
no
that show.
Shit, she wants to
It's
kill
just so
everyone.
dark.
Go ahead, Lucy. Tear up those little bastards. Whoa.
And I watched all those episodes.
This
and I
was the
regretted
first
it.
time Lucy unleashed her psychokinetic vectors. As a Diclonius queen, Lucy is meant to use these vectors
And
to
wants to be
infect
like,
ordinary
oh, yeah,
human
you're
beings
like,
with a Diclonius
no.
virus.
She's a freaking
but
psychopath
she
who'll
used
kill you
them
in
for
seconds.
so much
No.
more.
Not
For
worth
simplicity's
this.
sake, think of the vectors as invisible arms, which can sprout from Lucy's back.
Lucy can use up to 28 vectors with a normal range of about 6 to 7 feet. When she gets really serious, her horns grow and the vectors get way longer and stronger.
She can vibrate her vectors at different frequencies, and each level of vibration has different effects. At low frequencies, her vectors can pass through objects with no effect. At a medium frequency, the vectors become solid, like extendable hands, while still completely invisible. These can be used as shields and lift heavy objects.
Oh man, if I had those things, I'd be messing with people all the time, like tying their shoes from across the room. Also, since this seems to be a thing in this episode, she can fly.
It's not really flying, she's just lifting herself off the ground. With
Yeah,
the third
that makes
frequency,
sense.
Lucy turns her vectors into invisible blades. These can cut through people and bend metal.
And with the last and highest frequency, Lucy gets explosive. No, really, at this level, they finally become visible and can strike with enough force to detonate. Damn,
Oh, wow.
They don't call this chick the queen for nothing.
Unfortunately, Lucy is not always in control of what she does. Turns out she has developed several alternate personalities.
Yeah, getting shot in the head can do that to you.
I'm so glad you patched things up with your friends.
Have I told you that we're all friends again?
Yes, we were just talking about it.
You're gonna take me to the zoo and roll me around. You know, we're all friends again.
That injury specifically created New, a passive, almost childlike persona which exists as a coping mechanism for Lucy's trauma. As New, Lucy would finally find friends
Yeah,
and
that was
began forging a
gross.
path toward hopeless redemption.
Unlike her third personality, the so-called DNA voice, which constantly whispers in her ear that she's got a job to do. Kill them all, Lucy, before they hurt more puppies.
Yeah.
DNA.
I
She
still
can do
hate
it
that.
too. Lucy's fast enough to block bullets from a point-blank
yeah.
range.
I
And
really
once,
do.
she actually saved herself from a bullet after she had already been shot. As in, while the bullet was traveling between her skin and her heart.
Oh,
It looks
wow.
like she's getting shot by an MP5, which fires bullets at nearly 900 miles per hour.
With
I
her
still put
body
my
type,
bits
the
on
distance between
Carnage.
Lucy's skin and heart is less than an inch. Probably around
He'll just
2.4
rejuvenate
centimeters.
himself.
Given the bullet
And he
speed
can
and the
affect
distance
her.
her vector would have to reach from
If
her
he
back
can cut
before
her.
the bullet hit her heart, her vector had to move nearly 1,900 miles per hour. That's over twice the speed of sound.
She can throw a pen through a guy's skull. Brutal. And even tossed this giant boulder.
When compared to this guy, Bando, whom we know is 6 feet tall, we can determine the boulder weighs about 75 tons. Her vectors are also tough enough to block a missile from the Air Force. While the exact model of missile is
pretty
unspecified, it is fairly large and likely an air-to-surface type.
I bet it's one of the Air Force's SLAMs, or Standoff Land Attack Missile, built off the back of the Navy's Harpoon missile. In fact, a harpoon is used against a different Diclonius at one point.
guys like sticking
so
a
this
long
beast
time on one
slammed
character,
into her
don't ya?
vector at 500 miles per hour with a 1,000-pound explosive yield, and it didn't even phase her. Even without a vector shield, she survived a pretty nasty explosion herself. Though it did knock her out.
Impressive, but how about the time she punched through an island? A strike literally compared to nuclear fusion. This kicked up a 100-foot tidal wave and a 9.2 magnitude earthquake. A level so high, there's only been 4 comparable quakes ever recorded.
Her vectors can be as wide as buildings and reach into outer space, except that's about when Lucy reaches her limit.
Right, as a Diclonius, Lucy has a few severe weaknesses. Her vectors can be nullified if she's struck in the forehead, or if one of her horns are broken.
Also, if Lucy pushes herself too hard, she starts to melt. Kinda like ice cream out in the Texas sun. It's not pretty. She's just a big puddle of goop with a face, but she's still a total badass, even at her meltiest.
While suffering agonizing pain, she was capable of single-handedly halting a massive military threat, while healing and protecting the person she loved most. Perhaps redemption wasn't so hopeless after all.
Hey, let's watch her kill some more people.
Let's.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first,
Yeah,
you'd
in the
be
anime
crazy
version,
not
she
to get
was
in
not
on
wearing a
this
shirt
deal.
ever.
By now, you've...
What are you, gay?
Probably heard of Blue Apron, the leading meal kit delivery service in the U.S.
And delicious meals with my own death battle.
Okay, apron. I really care about the apron thing. Little art style. Yeah, it's Carnage having fun.
Oh my god, calm down! Shut up, calm! Jesus, calm the fuck down! You're not cheering? What the fuck are you doing?
Ooh. This is gonna be fun.
Die.
And funny. Yeah, see what I mean? Oh yeah, the arms are the problem. If he can get past that... She has like the best defense. Damn it, stay dead. Over here. It's kind of like Rock Lee versus Gaara in Naruto. God damn, she's actually getting hurt. She's dicing you up.
It's raining.
You can't kill him.
Get back!
Oh, she's made explosive now. Exploding sensation.
Does it hurt yet? Don't worry. I'll put you out of your misery.
Wait, she actually killed him?
KO!
First those kids at the orphanage,
I didn't-
then Cletus.
Oh, I guess
Lucy
blowing up the
really
smithereens
hates dog
works, too.
killers, and for good reason.
Carnage was a challenging opponent. It was incredibly difficult for Lucy to deal any lasting damage against him.
He had the durability advantage in the bag, though Lucy fighting as a puddle proved she could take a lot of pain and keep
Oh,
on
yeah.
fighting. Sadly, Carnage came up short in pretty much everything else.
Right, Carnage was tough, but not invincible. Even his surviving that gene bomb isn't quite as impressive as it sounds, since he had no other feats to even remotely back up planetary-level durability, and the bomb was more akin to a biological weapon anyway. While Carnage's tendrils could pass speeds of Mach 2, Lucy's vectors once reached into outer space. By timing her accompanying monologue and comparing the longest vector's length to the curvature of the Earth, it's clear she reached over 2,400 miles in 20 seconds max.
Way longer than Carnage's 2-mile feet.
All this means her vectors were moving at least
Okay, I guess I chose-
440,000 miles per
Like I
hour.
said, I only saw
more
that
than
movie,
500
or
times
show
the speed of
once,
sound,
so
and
Delvin
250 times faster than Carnage.
Good luck getting past that. And this was really the biggest hurdle. With Lucy's redonkulous speed and Carnage's healing powers, it all
is
boiled
really
down to
hard
one
to
thing.
act.
Who could hit the killing blow first? I mean, Carnage could respawn from
hard to
scratch,
think of what
so the
that-
only way to beat him for good was to totally vaporize him.
And Lucy had the perfect answer to that. Remember that time she hit an island so hard she caused a 9.2 magnitude earthquake and a 100-foot tall tidal wave?
Yeah.
Such a feat would require an enormous amount of explosive energy. approximately 31,000 tons of TNT, similar to the bomb that hit Hiroshima.
It's literally compared to nuclear fusion in the Elfen Lied manga.
Elfen Lied, it's German.
I've always called it
to
Lied.
beat Carnage for good, Lucy needed to totally obliterate him, and she could do that.
The heat produced within the initial impact of a nuclear explosion can reach temperatures up to 180,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jeez.
More than 18 times hotter than the surface of the sun. And to top it off,
Have you ever
heat
been
was
to the
Carnage's
sun?
biggest weakness. Even if Lucy's explosive force was just a fraction of this, it would still have been far too much for him.
She just needed to smack him before he could power through her vectors, which chances were pretty slim for that happening anyway, because there's a bunch of them and they're so damn fast. Hitting Carnage with a big explosion punch was way easier.
Cletus and his symbiote may have had the endurance, but Lucy's space-worthy speed, overwhelming presence, and nuclear strength won the day.
She dealt the carnage needed for a
I guess
total
I should've
victory and took
I would
the
have won with
lead.
her, but
There,
I just
said
think
it right.
she
Liz.
would have had
Happy?
her limit.
The
Like if
winner
he stabbed her,
is
he would have
Lucy.
infected her. But, oh well.
Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the fight, you can get a first.
So that was my reaction to Carnage vs. Lucy. Hope you guys liked the video, and have a nice day.